Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is week 6 of the Ascend Method workshop. This week we are talking about discipline. Probably the hardest, um, this is the hardest one for sure. And because this is the one really where you have to make that promise within yourself and you have to keep it. You can't keep putting things off. It's either so this is the truth. Discipline isn't something you either have or you don't. It's something that you build every day with every little decision that you make and every time that you follow through. You build the discipline, and before you know it, these things are just a matter of just like a muscle memory, and it's no longer even a choice anymore. It's just something that you just automatically do. So if I'm being honest, there's definitely times where I don't feel like showing up. There's times where I want to skip, going to the gym or skip doing my homework, tell myself that I'll do it later. But there's, I've definitely learned that doesn't, it brings me a lot of anxiety because it's almost like I am stacking up all of these items or all of these things that I either have to do still, or I have it in the back of my brain that I should have done this and I told myself I was going to do this and I didn't. Sorry, my dog is barking. She hears me down here talking, so I don't know, she thinks somebody else is here. So hoping that she'll figure it out soon and she'll stop. So you need to remember that discipline is not about how you feel. It's about what you do anyway. It's not even an option of a no. You just do it. Because you have to remember that motivation comes and goes. You're not always going to feel motivated to keep going. That drive is not always going to be there. When you first start the new year, new me, or you first start off on something and you have all of this gumption, you have all of this drive and motivation and this excitement for something new. The discipline comes in when that new wears off, because it's going to. It's not going to be so shiny and fun anymore. There's going to be times where you just kind of wonder why maybe you question what you're doing, but you just have to remember that you just keep with that follow through. You just have to keep moving forward no matter what is going on. And then, because this is where most people get stuck, they wait until either they feel ready, they wait until they feel motivated, and chances are it's going to be a long time before you feel truly ready or you're going to feel that motivation. A lot of the times I have noticed that readiness and motivation comes after I have just started moving forward and making the motions to change, or started kind of chipping away at my goals bite by bite. Like when I'm not really a competitive person per se for like other like competitive sports or anything like that. I'm more of a competitive person with myself. So things that will keep me going, like when I quit smoking, I got an app. I downloaded an app that is a quit smoking app, and I had to use that as a mental reminder to keep going, because there were days where I just had a bad day and wanted to smoke a cigarette. I smelt cigarette smoke somewhere, so I wanted a cigarette. But it was almost, if I cheated on quitting smoking, I was cheating on myself. And so I remember just having to look at this app and remind myself how how far I've come, and that no matter how hard it is, to just keep going. Actually, if it take too long, I will show you where we are at today. So today, I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to put it up there. This is where I am at. It's backwards, but I have been a non-smoker for 1,894 days. There are 28,408 cigarettes non-smoked and $18,465.69 I have saved by quitting smoking, which I bet you it's a lot more because I'm pretty sure I lowballed the amount on how much cigarettes are because they are crazy expensive. Not to mention all of the other benefits that are not on that app. I'm a healthier person. Just all the way around, I just feel better. I was pretty sickly all of the time. And even just quitting smoking, I have changed other habits. I don't drink alcohol. Alcohol was like a trigger for smoking, so I just kind of weaned myself off of alcohol, and then I just started picking up healthier habits like walking and just kind of taking care of my body, and those just kind of naturally came with the shift of quitting smoking and keeping myself accountable, and keeping that discipline. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to kind of relate with the discipline and how it's important that even when you just don't feel motivated or you just really want to quit or whatever, you just have to really truly remember that timeline and those days and minutes and stuff ticking by internally, every time that you cheat on yourself, you're resetting that. So visual reminders like that are huge, huge helps for me. So if you are like me, I recommend doing something like that. So I want you to redefine discipline within your own mind, because sometimes we have like that negative, like it brings like a negative connotation almost to being, to getting disciplined or being disciplined. It just sounds negative. So if you just kind of take that shift, discipline isn't punishment. It's not an extreme. It's not all or nothing. It's choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, and even when nobody sees it, because nobody other than, like my very close family and friends, people don't see this all of the time, and it's hard to keep going, I guess, sometimes, and when even yourself, you don't see the little changes or you don't see the day-to-day little shifts. But I promise you that in the grand scheme of things, when you look back on your timeline, you're going to see that big, huge change. So you just need to remember that you're not always going to have cheerleaders behind you. You're not always going to have um, the big, the big gains. You know what I mean? But a lot of those big gains are made with small, tiny ones. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't run before you walk. You can't walk before you crawl. So, um, that's pretty important to kind of to keep you going, because at some point in time, it's not about what you do, and it becomes more about who you are. It's not about being somebody that just tries anymore. You're somebody that follows through. You know, I think that's really important too, because that's going to keep that discipline within yourself, because you you're going to become driven, and you're going to become pretty proud of yourself and the all of the accomplishments that you've made. So I feel like once you start really getting on that path and seeing all of these gains within yourself, um that's where the motivation comes, is with the consistency of showing up for yourself every single day. So this week, I want you to keep your non-negotiables, but I want you to look at them differently. Not as tasks, but as proof of who you are becoming, proof of who you're working on, and proof of um, the things that you can achieve. So I'm still working on this too. I don't always get things perfect. But and nobody is going to. None of this is about being perfect. All of this is about progress. Progress over perfection. Um so and that's a big thing too, is, nobody is asking you to be perfect, and you shouldn't ask yourself to be perfect either, because perfect really is it isn't it isn't real. So we shouldn't really be striving for perfect, um, because I just kind of feel like that is setting yourself up for failure. I feel that you should give yourself grace, um, and forgive yourself for the times that you do fall back on old habits, um, or maybe you do kind of fall into the pattern of, yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow, and you wait and you do it tomorrow. But the important thing is to do it tomorrow when you say you're going to do it tomorrow. Don't let tomorrow come and say you're going to do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns into tomorrow, and then you end up in, a world of tomorrows, and that's that's not going to get you anywhere. I feel like at that point you're just kind of puddling water, and you're going to look back on all your yesterdays and realize that you're not any further ahead now than you were then. And that's a pretty discouraging feeling. So I think it's pretty important to really just remember that you are allowed grace, but you also need to remember to follow through for yourself. So when you say you are going to get up and you are going to do it tomorrow, then that's a promise for yourself, and you need to keep it. So, all right. Well, that's all I have to say about that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. This is the last video for the Ascend method itself. Next week I will be doing a wrap-up video for the workshop. So I'm excited for that. I'm hoping to have I'll do something a little bit different. So if you have any ideas or anything that you would like to share about anything that you've learned or experienced or gained in these last 6 weeks or so, I'd love to hear it. And so with that, I'm just going to say, so I am super proud of you. Thank you for showing up for yourself. And remember, you have to remember it's you versus you. And you are worth all of the amazing things that you are working towards, and I believe in you. So rise, evolve, and ascend.